What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Dummy Wormy. I'm coming at you with another Acolyte review. This show just won't end, my lord. Oh, God, what did I just watch? What I just watched was a definition of nothing really happening. What I just watched was the pinnacle of predictability, of people being able to basically tell what was going to happen from a mile away. And the only real twist at the end is still not fully a twist. And they're trying to do this whole wonder and curiosity about what's going on with Soul and who Soul is as a Jedi. And maybe there's more to him than meets the eye. And just what happened back on their home planet and dumb stuff like that. And it was dumb. And Soul is either a villain or just idiotic at this point. There's no two sides to the coin, because we start this episode with Osha waking up. And I have to be real honest here. They lose all track of time. They've been losing all track of time and distance in this entire show. People could just spawn wherever they need them to spawn. This is blatantly awful at how awful of a time jump there is and how people aren't moving naturally throughout the world itself. But we start with Osha waking up in a random cave, breathing heavily, looking at her scars, walking around. She randomly drinks a thing after she smells it. Starts walking out, sees weird bird creature thing, sees knife, sees clothes, goes outside, and now she realizes she's on another planet altogether. So what you have to now believe real quick is, because where we left off last episode was with Osha passed out because she was thrown so far with the Force and, well, with the thread, and knocked out. So now you need to be able to believe that she was out for a long enough period of time for Quimey, whatever his name is, I don't care, Smilo Ren, to essentially get her onto the ship, fly his ship to whatever planet this is, because it does end up saying unknown planet, and then sets her down in a bed so she could rest to wake up. You have to believe all this happens, while at the same time, you have to believe all that happens, and I'm skipping ahead a bit, mainly because I want to show you guys this, because while simultaneously back on the main Kofar, whatever, the forest planet, whatever, they're just leaving. So you have to believe all that happened. So something that had to have taken hours to happen, to do all that happened in the span of literal minutes, because when we come back here to Kofar, they're already flying away. They were just heading to their ship beforehand. They were leaving for their ship before Osha, whatever his name is, did whatever they did in the forest. So the essence of time is completely gone. The essence of, like, how long this all takes, so that's long out the window. I've pointed it out a few times in this whole show. This is much worse, because now you have to believe all that happened in the span of mere minutes, when the rest of this happens in the span of like hours. And again, distance in this entire world means nothing. But I do want to hop back to Osha realizing she's on an unknown planet, because when she walks out to the beach, she ends up seeing Smilo Ren walking off, and she decides to go after him. Yeah, that's where we end up leaving her. We then cut back to Soul and doing stuff, and he's now trying to radio the Jedi Council, which is the correct move right now. And what he's attempting to say is like, hey, an SOS, we have a lot of this going down, and he can't get anything through because the little reception stuff is starting to cut out, because their transponders having issues, and he's having issues. We end up seeing May walk up, and she stares into the area, and she starts hearing all sorts of like discussion going on. She starts hearing Soul. She starts walking over to where Soul is, and he's still struggling with the transponder. Transponder goes out. May, whichever one it is, Soap Girl, decides to start walking up behind him, and then he goes like, oh, May, can you take the helm of the ship real quick? I need to go fix the transponder, as he just walks up and leaves, as the ship has no pilot, and we do end up seeing the ship start going down. So you immediately got up, walked away without a pilot there, without her being in the other seat, and just assumed she was going to get it. She would have gotten it, don't get me wrong. But that's some of the stupidest things I've ever seen. That's one of the stupidest moves I've ever seen. Have her sit down in the other chair first before you get up and walk away. That's how you do all that. You didn't have it in autopilot. We physically saw the ship start dipping. You almost killed them all, Soul. You dum-dum. So Soul goes off to reset the transponder, whatever. We watch as Soul goes over there. And I'll give Soul's actor, and I don't know his name, he might play an idiotic character in a horrible show, but he knows how to emote, because we watch as Soul gets everything restarted, and we have this long period of him just emoting. You know, freaking out because he just lost everybody. He's showing his grief and his sorrow for it. And I can give credit to that, okay? I can give credit to the actor for the scene because he does a decent job there. But altogether, you also have to then remember that a lot of this stuff was his own decision. A lot of this was caused by his own hand. And he's an idiot that killed them all. So, okay. He starts, you know, getting his bearings back, walks back up to the cockpit. Oh, I completely forgot about this. Because we also forgot about Basil. Basil's here, everybody. So we watch as Basil does Basil things with the Pip droid and starts trying to figure out how it works. He walks over to like a workstation and starts fiddling around trying to do cute things to get Pip droid to charge. And then he gets Pip droid to start charging as he starts making Basil noises. I would love to just ignore Basil that entire time. So we cut back to Unknown Planet, where we watch as Smilo, Ren, and Osha are, you know, walking and doing their stuff. Smilo Ren comes to this pond-like area, and we see why the show needed an intimacy coordinator. Because Smilo Ren starts stripping down stark naked so he could go wash himself and just do this. And we have this whole moment of watching Osha realize that the lightsaber's there, starts walking over to the lightsaber while he's, you know, doing his stuff. And all I'm thinking is, oh my god, now Smilo Ren's retarded and not using the Force at all. But he is. It's so weird because when she grabs the lightsaber, he responds with, oh, how does it feel? So you just let her grab the lightsaber. You just let her. You didn't, you know, because you knew she was following you the whole time. You didn't, like, right before she gets the lightsaber, do that whole, like, flip around and use the Force to grab it yourself. No? Okay, you just want her to have it because it's part of his little ploy to get her to turn. Doesn't really take much to get her to turn, to be quite honest with you. So she gets into stance. He goes like, oh, good stance, blah, blah, blah. So starts swimming up and goes like, hey, can I please put on clothes real quick? Because if you're not going to join me, I'd like to have clothes on. So he stands up and they start talking and starts talking about like killing and everything. It's like, oh, you want to kill me right now, but you're wondering if it's honorable because killing me in the heat of battle is justified. Killing me now is just revenge. And I'm just like, he just killed everybody. It's okay to take him out. He literally just murked your entire crew. This whole rule of you can't kill them unless you're in the battle and unless they're armed and things, blah, 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 blah. No! He's a psychotic killer. Just take him out, Osha. But no, can't do that. That's bad. And he starts talking with Osha. They start doing a whole thing. Prisoner. I don't remember. Oh yeah. Osha asks if she's a prisoner, and he says, "You're the one with the weapon." And just they keep getting dressed. They start talking about other stuff. Jedi arts, whatever. I don't care enough to continue on. We cut back to Kofar while we watch a very bad CGI clip in which the ship combines together so they could go into hyperspace. And we watch as Osha does it all. Soul comes up, starts saying, oh, we're all set. Soul looks at her, you know, hugs her like, we're saved, Osha. You're saved, blah, blah, blah. Good discussion. Soul's about to cry. It says he's sorry. And then we end up watching as, oh, the transponder kicks back on. Soul immediately rushes over to respond, and then all the power in the entire ship goes out. So he tells May, who he thinks is Osha, I'm not even completely sure what he thinks at this point after this episode, to kindly go take a look at it, please. And that's exactly what she goes and does. We then cut to green chick, Nepo chick, whatever you want to say, Master Nepo, whatever. Oh my lord! You watch as she shows up, and she's talking to a senator about senator stuff, and then Jedi dude comes in and begins to inform her about how, hey, Soul reached out to us and said that there was a bunch of casualties on the mission that he was on, and we're gonna send an entire team out to go save him. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go help you. And he's like, oh, how do you know where he's at? Because I sent her, but I don't give a darn. Cut back over to Osha and Smilo Ren walking and talking a long time. Oh yeah, because Smilo Ren reveals that he wants to be a Jedi, and Osha asks, like, when were you a Jedi? And he goes, like, a long time ago. And then they just keep walking and talking about other stuff, and the Soul comes up and starts asking, like, hey, more about Soul. And he starts planting these seeds of dissent in her about, like, Soul and her power and things of that nature. And she's like, weak with the Force, and she's like, no, you're not weak with the Force is yours, and blah. I couldn't give a darn. That's the worst part about the show. I literally watched it, and most of it's out of my head already. I could not care less about what happened. The most interesting stuff happens at the end, and even then it's like, what's happening? Okay, and it's just idiotic. So we cut back to May doing May things, trying to reset the ship, and she starts looking around, and oh my god, there's the pip droid. And then Basil comes in from behind and starts doing these weird movements like, I'm about to fight you. Goes up and attacks May, stomps on her foot. She responds, and then the pip droid splooshes in her face. Yeah, just bleh, right into her face. Yeah. That is exactly what just happened there. So then she takes the pip droid and puts it into factory mode, possibly completely killing it. I don't know. I have no idea. It's gone. So she then puts it on a new body and asks it to run a diagnostic of the ship so she can help reset it. Cut back to Osha and one dude, and they're doing things. They're now inside the cave. She's watching as he's going up to do something, and I don't remember everything that got talked about here. I gotta be brutally honest with you. Something about loss and how you're only free once you lose everything, and he lost everything at one point, and that led to him having all the power. I don't get it. I gotta be perfectly honest with you. I just quit listening. Oh yeah, there was this. I forgot this though. She did say she would not be as easily corrupted as her sister, and he's like, I beg to differ. I'm gonna try a different way. And then he walks outside with her, tells her to, stab him with his lightsaber. And she's saying, no, I won't do it. And he's all like, why did the Jedi abandon you? She's like, they didn't abandon me. I left. And he's like, why did you leave? And they start to have this back and forth where she ultimately says, because she failed. And he starts saying this anger and pain is going to be what gives you strength and power, and you're finally free and blah. Again, so much of the stuff I just watched, and it's out the window because it's in one year out the next, because nothing of substance is actually happening. Oh, then we have this scene. Master Nepo is completely incapable of acting. It's some of the worst acting I've ever seen. So she walks up, goes to Jedi dude, and says, hey, I'm joining you. And he's like, are you sure this is a bad idea? You shouldn't be coming with us. He's all like, I'm coming. And he's like, well, it's just because, you get sick on deep space travels. And it's like, I don't get sick. I'm just agitated. And he's like, okay. But then he starts to talk about how, these casualties could be just about anything. You don't really need to come with us. And she's like, no, I'm going to come. And she goes. So, oh God. We end up cutting back over to the ship on Kofar, where we watch Basil's running through whatever. Osha's May, whichever one it is, sees it, then gets called to by Soul, and then they start sitting down and talking and discussing feelings and stuff like that. And Soul's there doing his stuff, and saying, I'm sorry for what happened with you. I'm sorry for what happened with your sister. That villain got to her, and I wanted to stop him, and I'm so sorry. And she's all like, oh, is there more to the story that you wanted to tell me and stuff like that? And he's like, there is. And she's all, will you tell me now? And he's like, okay. And then the power comes back on. She immediately starts running away as she begins to try to communicate with somebody over the comms randomly. I don't know why she's doing this out of the blue. And then the big flip happens where she gets zapped by Soul, and Soul takes her over and says he always knew it was May all along. What? And then it gets even weirder, because then the Jedi are responding saying, hey, Master Soul, rescue's on its way, to keep your transmitter on, and he turns it off. Basil's watching this whole thing, and then he just goes into hyperspace randomly. What? Where did this heel turn come from? What is going on here? Because it keeps getting weirder by the end of the episode. But we mentioned, he flies away, and essence of how time and space don't really mean anything to the show. Guess who shows up right as he leaves? The Jedi! Right as he leaves, they appear right after leaving Coruscant. Teleportation. That's all that matters, is teleportation. So they arrive and they begin landing on Kofar, talking to the natives, and they're like, hey, a bunch of moth creatures swarmed last night and destroyed a bunch of settlements. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And but Nepo Master Lady says that possibly, but then says, follow me. And she's leading the way, but in the shot, she's in the middle of the pack. She was in front of this dude, and now she's like not. So okay, there's that. Bad cinematography, bad everything. This show is just awful. So okay, they do their thing. We cut back over to May and Smilo Ren, and they're doing something and just talking, and mistakes were made and all this weird stuff. And then she starts talking to him about his helmet, and he's like, oh, it's cortosis, it's awesome. Oh yeah, I forgot about this, because thank you for closed captioning. Osha, not May, Osha, which they're the same fucking person, just screw it. Sister asks, dude, what do you want? And the dude responds with the power of 2. Power of 1. The power of 2. The power of I need whiskey. I have Southern Comfort right here. That's some of the worst stuff ever. It's disgusting, horrible to taste, and I'm just thinking, you know what? I might as well just start chugging it, because that's the only way to enjoy this show. Being drunk off your ass. So, okay. They keep talking. Oh yeah, stranger dude, and we saw this when he took his shirt off. Has weird scar on the back of his, whatever, on the back of his back, whatever. And Osha asks him, hey, where did you get that star? Oh, I got stabbed in the back by somebody very important to me. And it's hinted that it's his former master that stabbed him in the back, and he doesn't respond, and then just starts talking about his helmet and brings up cortosis and its powers and capability on the battlefield. The thing that nobody knew about at all, and that they only drug up from EU lore because, oh my god, we have to make it look like we know what we're talking about, even though nobody knew what you were talking about. Only a very handful of people knew what you were talking about. So he starts filling her in on what cortosis is and stuff, and then he says it also works as a sensory deprivation system, just like we used to use back when we were younglings, so maybe you should try it out and put it on. She's all like, I don't trust you, and he's like, it's good not to trust me, but you should learn to trust yourself, as he walks away and does stuff, and we leave her there as she's staring at it. We then get a very good look at Jackie, dead on the ground. So there was a big controversy of Soul just left a bunch of Jedi on the ground randomly, and yeah, we now know why they allowed that to happen. Because they needed a justification for Green Lady to get here and then realize that something bad happened, because Soul wasn't going to tell them anything, I guess. I don't know. So, okay, she walks the battlefield, sees everybody dead, starts looking around. It's similar to like other force wielders back in the prequels when they're walking around through like battlefields, they're feeling and seeing like things actually happening. So she's doing that whole stuff, and she's thinking about it, and Jedi dude comes up behind whatever, and says, "Hey, what happened here?" It's like, battle and all the stuff. What do you think happened? He's like, an explosion, powerful person, something bad must have happened. Some powerful person must have struck him down. It's so insane. And as they're talking, you see bug creature from behind starts coming at them randomly. I don't know why. And she pulls out her lightsaber whip and just flicks it behind her to kill the bug, as Jedi dude was incapable of grabbing his lightsaber in time. Yay, we have to just see how good and amazing she is, even though she's a plank of wood. So Jedi dude then starts saying the only way they could have gotten these like attack marks is if a lightsaber was used, and maybe a fallen Jedi or something like that. And she's like, impossible, or something that could tip the scales. And dude starts saying maybe it was Master Soul, and she's like, that's a serious accusation. That you can't be doing that. And he's like, well, then what else? And it's like something dark and evil. She then says, we're gonna prep the bodies and bring them with us so we can prepare them for burial. Yeah, that's how that ends. Pretty sure that's all you're gonna see with her. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna establish that the Jedi don't know that Sith dude was there. Now, she has thoughts that maybe Sith dude is there, but they don't know that Sith dude is there. But they kind of know that Sith dude is there. It's so weird how they're doing this and trying to do the whole cover up. I'm now convinced that they're going to try to throw Soul under the bus and say Soul was the bad guy the entire time. I'm 100% convinced on that, especially with this next set of scenes where May wakes up, tries to get up out of bed, and sees that she's now shackled to the bed. And we see Soul literally looking at her in this very disturbing, ominous way. And he goes like, oh, you have my attention now for harming you. He gets up and walks over, goes like, for 16 years, I've been wondering how to talk to you. And now that I have you here, I'm going to tell you everything. And you're going to listen in this very menacing, disturbing way. And I'm like, what the? This is the major heel turn. What is happening? I'm becoming more and more convinced that Soul is bad guy the entire time. And I'm partially convinced that Soul's a Sith. I have no reason not to believe this now, because dude, the heel turned. Majorly. But hey, at least freaking Squid Game guys knows how to emote. That's what I can give him. He's at least a good actor there. Has garbage to work with. Well, randomly cuts to black, and I thought the episode was over. And I'm pretty sure that's what they wanted you to think, because cut back to unknown planet, looking at Smiler Ren's mask, and Osha takes one good look at it, starts, expecting it, gently looking at it, and we see a vein of the freaking cortosis on the wall, and looks at it more, and she decides to put it on as the episode ends, as you hear her breathing in the mask, as she's literally like, just stupid as the episode ends. This episode was mostly predictable. Honestly, it was just predictable. You were able to see this whole like, oh, they're going to be split up and eventually they're going to try to switch sides and have all this stuff go on. And you were seeing that from a mile away. May's whole like reason for being doesn't even make sense. She continues to shift her like purpose in the show constantly. She goes from, and people have pointed this out, how, oh no, must kill all Jedi, to, oh no, must get May back or Osha back, or oh no, now I must turn myself into the Jedi for killing a bunch of Jedi and I can get Osha back. Oh no, I'm going to attack all the Jedi. Oh no, I'm going to do this. Oh no, I'm going to do that. And in this episode, she changes her mind like twice what she's actually going to do, randomly then running to call for help for no reason. The period of time that moves, the whole idea of how time and positioning in the galaxy is just idiotic as well. Like, nobody moves in a more justifiable rate. Like, oh, we go from here to here, but it takes about this amount of time. No, everything can just snap a finger. You can be wherever you need to be, whenever you need to be it. I wish we had this ability back during the OT. Then it just keeps getting worse as then you get to like the whole Smilo Ren where the actor's good, the material he has is garbage, and he's like, Osha's all like, I'm not gonna be as easily as corrupted as my sister, and it's like, no, you were easily corrupted in a day. You're not as strong-willed as you say you are, and then oh my god, now you're becoming dark. Oh, it's so horrible what we're seeing, and I don't even think we're gonna see a good resolution to this all. I'm becoming convinced that Soul is gonna turn out to be a baddie bad, or they're gonna try to make us think that he's a baddie bad, and he's gonna be murked at the end by maybe both sisters. I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore in the show. Oh, and Master Nepo, frickin' Leslie Headland's wife, is one of the biggest plank of wood. And this entire show has no emotional ability, just literally says her lines in a deadpan, monotone way. And oh my god, she's the bestest ever! I know her character is supposed to be the bestest ever in the High Republic, but she's literally the bestest ever, able to freaking use her lightsaber whip, which the physics of that is just idiotic to begin with, and flip it right behind her without actually knowing. Oh my god, she's so much better than everybody else. Her only downside is she's sick during hyperspace travel. The only reveal is Smilo dude used to be a Jedi, and that's about it. And something weird is going on with Soul that could possibly be, oh, I'm just gonna talk to you as we turn you in. I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. The show's just dumb and idiotic, and I can't take it anymore. But I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out, friends, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video go live. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.